Hello out there, this is Wakeangel2K1, and as you may recall from my last review video, I ordered 2 figmas that day, and the second one was the Dark Magician Girl. I combined the shipping on the 2 figures, and they arrived in the same package in the same day, so, well, yeah, because it was just one big box. But yeah, remember how big a Yu-Gi-Oh fan I was? This is what actually prompted my Harpy Lady rebuild, because reminding myself that, hey, I still like this game, I just had to fix up the figures that I made for it. So, once again, let's get the figure itself out of the way so we can take a quick look at the box. This is a big one, significantly wider than the Zero Suit Samus box. And, well, but it's still pretty much the basic thing. You have a very nice picture of the Dark Magician Girl on the side of the box. Some pictures of the poses she can take on the back of the box. And, you know, more pictures on either side, and the top and bottom. So, yeah. So, once again, to go over the accessories that the figure comes with, you have 7 alternate hands. You know, very calm open hands, fists, gesturing hands, you know, all the works. You also have a tiny extra figma joint to replace one of the wrists if you ever snap it by accident. You have your standard figma stand with its articulated thingy and this extra piece which attaches here. I guess that does something, and I guess I really don't know what that's for, like to give you an extra turn, I guess. And then she actually has 2 alternate faces, and unlike Zero Suit Samus, the alternate faces actually do something. One of them is a winking eye with a big smile, and the other one has her looking off to the side, so you can have her head tilted, and it will be looking at you. She also comes with a pair of fleshy thingies. We'll show you what these are for in a moment. They're legs. And a magic book with its own dedicated stand. The book is very cool on one side. The stand is ball jointed, although like if you tilt it too far it's just gonna fall, so you know, basically like that. And the book is really good looking. Only problem is that the inside pages are completely blank. They should have like put some magical runic symbols in here. I mean, I'm not sure if you ever got to see the inside of the magic book when it was used on the show. I think this is that equipment spell card. I forget what it's called. It's not the Book of Secret Arts. It's a Dark Magician specific equip card, I think. I forget what it's called. But yeah, it's on a stand because in the show the book would levitate. She also comes with her Dark Magician Girl magical staff, which, let's get it. Yeah, the head of it comes off, so you can just slide it in and out of her hand, just like with Link's Master Sword. So it makes it easy to get in and out of there. And her hat's removable, revealing her crazy Dark Magician hair underneath. Now, it's not easy because they're made out of some pretty stiff plastic, but you can remove her shoulder ribbons and cape thingy if you're very careful and persistent. So, if you want an uninterrupted view of the Dark Magician Girl's cleavage, then there you go. Although you do have to put the pentagram jewel back in because without it, she just kind of has a hole there. So, yeah, if you want if you want an even clearer view of her uncovered boobs, and there you go. If you don't mind a weird hole being there, but you know, I know there's some people out there that would want to have that option, so just got to get that out of the way. And here you can see those eyes that are looking a little bit to the left, essentially for the sole purpose of mimicking the look from the original Yu-Gi-Oh card. So yes, that is the sole purpose of that particular alternate face. Pretty nice that they put in that one little detail. And here we see what the purpose of these little alternate leg dealies are. It is pretty much to imitate the pose from the second Yu-Gi-Oh card that has her leg all bent like that. Although I think it actually goes a little bit farther in the figure than it does in the original card art. Which, as soon as this thing can focus, there you go. I think, like, it's not like the leg actually bends that much farther than her actual leg, but it is nice that you have that extreme bent leg pose without the visible knee joint. So it's kind of a nice little inclusion, even if it is a relatively minor detail. Now, I never thought that we would actually need a specific using your hand to gesture over a book as you read over it hand, but hey, apparently that really does enhance the look of the Dark Magician girl standing in front of the magical book. Because it actually makes it look like she's trying to find a specific passage in it. A very nice little touch. A generic pointing hand would have been so easy to make, but they just went that extra little half step. By the way, there's also these little blue things. Like, her hands are solid, just regular hands, and then you put these blue cuffs over them, and then you stick them onto her wrist pegs. It captures the look, although it is a little extra layer of annoyance. I kind of wish that they just made her hands with the blue thing on the back, but I'm thinking they did this so that you could part swap with other hands just in case. And I attached that specific hand because it's a holding thing hand that's not completely symmetrical to her right holding thing hand. Like, the right holding thing hand holds her staff, the left holding thing hand holds her staff, but with a pinky daintily extended. I guess that's her eloquent sorceress's hand. I don't know exactly why. Okay, then let's break down articulation. She has a traditional figma joint in her head, which lets her look around and down, but not so much up, because unlike Samus, her big hair and giant cape can limit the movements of her head a bit, so she's a little bit more constrained by sculpt. Her arms can move, and as you can see, there is give around her little shoulder thing. Like, it can crease up, it can go down, it can slide up and down, so that it doesn't really constrain her arms, so she can still get a really good range out of them. She has the traditional Figma elbow that goes well beyond the 90. Figma joints in her hands, so you get the rotation and you get the hinging. She has a ball joint in her upper torso, which also acts as a waist swivel, because there's nothing actually in her waist. She has ball jointed thighs. They don't do the thing with Samus where you can pull them down, although they do have a bit of natural range because since she has a skirt on, they don't have to worry about the sculpt breaking so much. Because like when you move her leg up like that, it looks fine from most angles that you would see the figure. You'd actually have to be deliberately looking up her skirt in order to tell that the sculpt is broken, you filthy pervert. Although, if you did want to look up her skirt, she does have a very nicely sculpted hiney, and they even did the tops of her thighs in the right shape so that as long as her legs were up close to it, it would look, fairly seamless. Then you have the Figma knee. Like I said, the knee actually bends almost as far as that specially sculpted extra leg. It's just that, you have a visible joint there. She has a boot cut swivel, and this little thing can move independently of the boot. And then there's a joint down here that has like the rocker and all that stuff. It kind of feels like Pit's sandal in that it's not as rangeful as it could be, because there's a whole bunch of big mushy sculpt down there, but it gets the job done when the leg isn't falling off. Might have to I might have to Bondic that to make it a little thicker, because I noticed that boot's a little bit loose. So, the Dark Magician Girl's articulation is good, but it's a Figma. What do you expect? I'm just happy that she can stand despite having that gigantic solid plastic hat. So, I don't really have much to put my Dark Magician Girl with. I mean, there's my Dark Magician figure, but as you know, he was made for the 4-inch scale, so he's undersized for this. Although I do still have the Harpy Lady, and now that she's been rebuilt, you know, she lacks the really crisp and detailed paint job. So, I mean, it looks painfully like my custom standing next to a beautiful original figure. Although I do have one other official Yu-Gi-Oh figure, my favorite monster, the Celtic Guardian. Although that's just a very basic figure with 4 points of articulation. So, you know, it's, I mean, it looks cool, but it's just not going to be able to pull off all the same cool poses. I mean, basically, that's all he can do. I mean, he can do this, so I guess he can point suggestively. And then his waist moves, but that's even more pointless. So, yeah, I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Action figures aren't all that common. I think before this they had, like, most Yu-Gi-Oh! Figures are like this. And I think, like, they made a figure art of the Dark Magician, like in the black costume, which looked awesome, but was also $80, and it was like the black variant of him, not the iconic purple that I'm used to, so I didn't get it. But the Dark Magician Girl, oh yeah, she's great. She has a lot more bits, much more heavily detailed costume, and just an overall more detailed and unique sculpt and buck altogether. So she actually feels like a much more high-end Figma than the Zero Suit Samus did. Like she also comes with bigger bits, like this awesome book, which is blank inside and looks better on this side. So it's probably an easier sell for this, but you do kind of still have to be a fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise because, you know, it's Dark Magician Girl. If you're not really a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh!, why are you spending $40 on a figure from it, huh? Alright, so yeah, she's a fantastic toy though, and I would recommend her for fans. So this is Wakeangel2K1, and I'm signing off.